The Nye County Sheriff's Office has located the 2014 Hyundai Accent last driven by 27-year-old Los Osos woman Margay Edwards. Margay's decomposed body was found on September 25th off Hafen Ranch Road by two men riding ATVs. Her family last spoke to her on September 14th while she was visiting two friends here in Pahrump. The vehicle was located 3 miles east of where her body was found. We spoke to Nye County Sheriff Tony DeMeo shortly after the vehicle was towed from the desert on Saturday night.
Thursday, the detectives revisited, and I went along with them to the scene to revisit the area where we found Miss Margay Edwards. Through discussion, I put out an order for our units to start searching 2-mile radius and 3-mile radius around where the body was found. We were sure that with a high degree of certainty that the car was still in Pahrump Valley. The areas that we could not search, we were going to give those to search and rescue, but based upon the search plan we had, because of the vastness of this area, we probably would have found a car probably within about 3 to 4 weeks with the search plan. It's a very rugged area. We were able, the detective Joe McGill was able to contact Metro Friday, and Metro came out today. Metro gave us the information, the GPS coordinates of the vehicle, and around 1:30 this afternoon we went out first with my Durango, my personal vehicle. It was as far as we can go, and then we took out Joe McGill's Rhino. And going by the GPS coordinates, we found the vehicle. And right now, of course, it took us a while to bring the vehicle back. The vehicle was way out in the desert, 3 miles from where we're standing right now. We wouldn't have found it. It was in a wash.
So it's in a wash area. It has a lot of damage. Do you guys think that you found any evidence that might be helpful to this case?
The vehicle, finding the vehicle itself, is very helpful to the case. Right now, right now the vehicle is being sealed for evidence. We're going to get a warrant. We're going to go through the vehicle. We're going to treat the vehicle as if it was a criminal investigation. And that's at this time, at this point, that's where we're at right now.
So the vehicle had GPS, or did they have to turn it on? It was from a rental car company, right?
There's no GPS. Metro Air was very helpful. They checked the areas that we could not go out there in this area right here. It took us with the Rhino following GPS coordinates, trying to get where the vehicle was, probably about an hour and a half with the Rhino. Then we had once we found a vehicle, then we had to backtrack how she got into the desert, and that's why then we met the tow truck to bring them out there where the vehicle was. It was in a wash, but the areas that she traveled with the vehicle, I tell you the truth, it was amazing where this vehicle went, and the only damage that vehicle suffered was actually from when it went into the wash.
So the vehicle appears to have been driven out there?
The vehicle was driven out there, yes.
And then is there any evidence of a struggle or any other evidence around the vehicle that you can speak of?
We're not talking about that part of the investigation. Right now what we're saying is that we found a vehicle. The vehicle has been sealed. We're going to take the vehicle to a secure location, and once we get a warrant for the vehicle, we're going to go through the vehicle. We're going to treat the vehicles as if it was a criminal investigation.
So Metro actually put up some aircraft to find this?
Metro came out with a helicopter, and they took that as a search route, and they found they actually found a vehicle using a search pattern, and they GPSed that vehicle for us. Their coordinates on the helicopter gave the coordinates where it was. We have a GPS as well, and we had to use those coordinates to get to the vehicle. But we said we went all over the desert. It's a lot of washes, and we had to try and find the trail. We couldn't find the exact trail how she got in there. And once we found the vehicle, then we backtracked that out. And a lot of trails that she was on was the trails that she created. There was she was on fresh ground. It was what we can see. Past a certain point, there was no other ATV or quad activity.
So no other tracks from other vehicles at all?
Nothing. The only tracks that are out there were the tracks for her vehicle.
How far do you think that Margay's body was from the actual place where the vehicle was found?
The vehicle is 3 miles from where we're standing.
So about 3 miles out there. And then, have you guys searched any other evidence around this area for any other items or things that might be helpful to this case?
We're doing an investigation.
Are you guys going to go on foot and see if you can find any other evidence that might have been dumped along the way?
We're conducting an investigation.
So, is there anything else that you can add?
No, we're grateful that we found the vehicle. We were in contact with the family. And at this time, we're going to process the vehicle as if it was a criminal investigation.
Were there any personal belongings inside the vehicle?
We're not discussing that.
Okay.
At this time, we're not discussing anything outside the fact that we found the vehicle and we're going to take it to a secure location. The vehicle's been secured. It's been treated as evidence.
Okay.
And we take it back to the Sally Port at detention. We're going to get a warrant for the vehicle so we can conduct the search of the vehicle. And then, of course, the first people we're going to notify is the family. The family had lost their daughter, and they lost a friend, a family member. The family right now is the one who's more important to us. Once the family gets notified, then we'll send out the proper releases to let people know what we determine. Remember also is that there's also a forensic autopsy being done as well.
Okay.
So that is also being conducted at this time. What we were looking at is if it was, as we said, your question you brought before, Selwyn,
Yes, sir.
was in reference to homicide. Okay.
Okay.
All right. My philosophy has been, since I'm a cop, and especially as a cop, a detective, a deputy, and sheriff, as I tell my people, every crime scene or every scene, especially a scene of where someone loses their life, has to be treated initially as if it was a criminal investigation. Right, because you only get one opportunity to preserve the evidence at a scene. If you look at something and you make a presupposition that, oh, this looks like a natural death by natural causes, you're going to miss critical evidence if it turns out to be a crime. The death was involved in criminal activity. We have discovered that deaths that looked like natural causes turned out to be criminal. There was criminal intent. So that's my philosophy. And the press doesn't understand. I know that sometimes I had some problems with the press outside of Nye County, and they didn't understand that philosophy. And I look at it this way: it's always easier to go down, to scale down, than all of a sudden later when we find out from evidence that comes to our attention that this death was caused by some type of criminal activity. How are you going to go back there and reconstruct the crime scene once it's been destroyed? So the instructions I give my deputies when they're in academy, the instructions that my deputies get is that we'll treat the death as if criminal activity took place. And that was the death we're treating as that. We're treating it as a homicide because because we only get one shot at evidence. We get one shot at a scene where someone was found who's deceased. And it's better for us to look at that and look at it with a critical eye, making sure we don't miss any evidence that may later on, if something comes to our attention that the person was dead by outside natural causes, but by somebody else and it was a criminal act, we can't go back and reconstruct that crime scene. So that's the approach we take from this, and it's the most prudent point, it's the most prudent area to take. I know some people criticize that because it wastes a lot of effort, but the fact of the matter is, someone lost their life. And it's the job of the Nye County Sheriff's Office, and we take that very seriously to find out why did that person lose their life. Was it because of it was somebody else involved in the death, or was it natural causes? And so right now, we're in that stage of the investigation.
Erring on the side of caution, I'm sorry, Deanna.
Right, well, we did, but like I said, when we came out here, we had a discussion when we went to the scene. My opinion was that the vehicle, with an 85-90% surety, the vehicle somewhere in Plum Valley. Thursday, I gave instructions to the Plum Valley deputies to start checking, start scrubbing, scouring the area, the south area of the valley for the vehicle. The areas that they could not cover, I even gave them permission to go somewhere into the desert as far as they can go safely and carefully.
ATVs or standard?
Well, we do right now. We only had our patrol vehicles.
Okay.
Once they cover the areas that we can cover without the limited ability with our vehicles, Then we would, of course, bring search and rescue in, and also use our ATVs, because we'd have to bring extra staff out to start taking care of the areas that we couldn't get. Like yesterday, I was out here. I followed trails that took me down to dry lake bed because, that there's the trails. There's numerous trails out here. The deputies that Thursday, after we met at the scene where Margay Edwards was found, they took an area. I took an area. We were certain at that time that the vehicle may still be here in Plum Valley. That's when, after I sent out my memo on Thursday, Friday, we were able to contact Metro Air, and the Metro Air said they can come out. They could give us a couple hours, to search the area. And a couple hours for Metro Air, they can search the valley in a couple hours. They're that's their job. And they conducted a search. They found the vehicle.
Roughly what time, Tony?
I got notified that the vehicle was found by a detective around. It was at approximately 1:25.
Okay.
I came out here, and since 1:25 until now, we've been working this.
So Metro responded from the air, and the detective actually located the vehicle?
Yeah, we actually located the vehicles. Two detectives and I went out on a Rhino and located. We were going by GPS coordinates. The GPS coordinates give us a direct route.
Okay.
But direct routes, lead to ravines and washes in areas that we couldn't cover and cross.
Okay.
So we had to come back again and then,
Gotcha.
find another route. In fact, one of the routes that we were on with my vehicle would have taken us there, but my personal vehicle, if I have a four-wheel drive, it would run into some problems because of some brush area, and we couldn't get the car past that. We found another way around when we backtracked from where the vehicle was. Then we found another route around where Margay, where the vehicle that Margay had was located. So.
Does it appear that whoever drove the vehicle out there knew where they were going or were familiar with the area?
We're not discussing that. Okay, and because that's still under investigation. Well, we have some ideas, but we're not. That's there right now. We have to look to see what evidence, find in the vehicle. Like I told the staff, the detectives and I agreed that the vehicle was key to answering a lot of questions that we had.
How?
And then, so that's why the vehicle is very important for us to find.
Is there a possibility that somehow Margay, and this is just hypothetical, could have drove her vehicle out there confused or under the influence or intoxicated, gotten an accident, and tried to come back to the roadway? Is that even something that's being looked at?
We're not discussing any. We're not discussing anything about the case outside the fact we found a vehicle that there was some discussion from the detectives and I when we went out there that we felt with a high degree of certainty that the vehicle was still in Plum Valley in an area that we couldn't find. And
so, do you know? Does it appear that it was in an accident, though?
well, the vehicle was found in a wash. I mean, the front end of the vehicle will tell you that the vehicle met an obstruction and the vehicle couldn't go any further. So.
The two people that Margay was visiting here in Pahrump, is there anything going on with that? I know you're going to say no comment on that.
No, I said no comment. Basically, we people that we were aware that she was in contact with, we have talked to those people, and they were cooperative. That's the extent of any comment on that. But the press seems to be focusing on that. The most important thing is the fact that we're investigating that, and let us do our job investigating the why Margay is dead, and so we can give the answers to the family. That the most important thing is the family, because they lost their daughter, they lost a family member, and that's the most important person for us. Our job is to determine the best of our ability what happened to Margay Edwards, but the primary responsibility we have, and I believe we have, is to the family first, and let them know what's going on. I don't want them to find out information from the press. We were out there. We had pictures of the vehicle that was taken by Metro. We were certain this was the vehicle because we actually had the plate information from Metro. They were able to fly and, of course, use their equipment to get us that information. But we would we had discussion with the family, and I said, well, let's go out there, find the vehicle first, secure the vehicle, then notify the family that we found the vehicle. And of course, whatever questions they had, we answered to the family. But we're even with that, we're not making any opinions at this point. We have some ideas, but until we go through the vehicle and we determine what's in the vehicle, and of course we still have an autopsy, that forensic autopsy by Clark County, and whatever information we have on that will be shared with them and not with the press at this time.
The vehicle most likely has evidence that is key to finding out what happened to Margay Edwards. The Nye County Sheriff's Office is processing the car at this time. Her body has been transported to Texas to conduct a forensic investigation as to the cause of death. I'm Deanna O'Donnell for News 46.